She was suddenly sure the priestess was her friend Rachel, coming to her because she needed her help, and the hairs on the back of her neck spoke to her that this was connected to her dream. She hurried to the door. Johannes finally felt that he had gone as far as he could go, but the priestess handed him the donkey's rope and hurried forward to meet the figure that had come out onto the road. Rachel, Rachel, thank heavens you're at home. This is Johannes, she said, who has brought to us a friend of a friend in dire need. She was trying to press a letter scroll into the hand of her friend, but Rachel ignored this or didn't see. Her attention was rooted to the figure on the donkey, a face pale as death, yet with auburn hair that looked on fire as it caught the rays of the setting sun, where it wasn't matted with dirt. Rachel went to her and quickly checked her over, feeling her forehead and her pulse, listening to her breathing and noting the sores that she could see. She became completely focused on the clear needs of this woman in front of her, ushering the party through a gate beside her house, where she called for someone to come and help them. How did she get into this condition? She asked a priestess friend, who shook her head. Only what is written in this letter. It is from Ariane, who remembered you. She says this woman's name is Mary, called Magdalene, and she was abominated with devil spirits by someone evil. That is all I know. Maybe Johannes, who brought her here, knows more. Yes, I remember Ariane, of course, she replied, finally scanning through the letter that had been given her, knowing now for certain that this was who the dream had been about, who she must help. Turning towards the man Johannes, she asked rather sharply, If you brought her here to Tyre, why is she in such an awful state? That is not what spirits have done to her. He coloured as he stuttered a reply, feeling a guilt that went further back than the last few days. She was like this when we found her on the road from Damascus, approaching Caesarea Philippi. But I had known her in Antioch. I had to help her. I'm sorry, said Rachel. I didn't mean to be angry with you, but this girl has been badly beaten, has sores, and looks not to have eaten properly in weeks. She has a fever and may not be strong enough to get through the night. I know, said Johannes. I didn't dare stop for long last night because of that. We came here as fast as I could manage. It is as that letter says. There was a magus in Antioch who she crossed, and who caught her, and did this awful thing to her. We lost contact till I found her on the road. Rachel looked at him again and saw how clearly exhausted he was. She could read quite a lot between his words and his pained and worried expression. There was probably no use in trying to prise more from him now. I am really sorry, she said again, her voice softening. Then she called to her house girl to come and show Johannes to a guest room and to get him what he needed to refresh himself. You will stay as long as you wish, she said. Johannes bowed his head as he accepted her offer, but couldn't immediately shake off the feeling of her early probing question. Come, Rachel, his hostess was saying. Please stay and help me. We have work to do to get this poor girl through to see the light of the morning sun. Then she also came over to Johannes as he was leaving with the maid. Well done. I think you have saved her life. It is a higher power that made you find her. You have done well what you were given to do. Now I must do the same. Be sure to ask for anything you need. Sleep well. We shall talk in the morning. A huge sigh of relief went through Johannes. Thank you, he said. Thank you. He felt a heavy weight, hard to bear, had been lifted from him.